It's Creators Corners night here at Two Geeks and a Microphone. I'm pretty pumped because we got Mr. Braxton Cosby himself again. So this is going to be a splendorific, awesome time here on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Hello there. So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
I will talk first, everybody. Good evening, everyone, here on Two Geeks and a Microphone. I am your host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only Mr. Michael Shanks himself. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good evening to all you geeks out there in Geekdom Land.
Hey, and we've got a recurring guest with us. I'm so excited. Everybody, if this is your first time meeting him, this is Mr. Braxton Cosby of Cosby Media Productions. Hey, Braxton, say hey to everybody.
Hey to everybody. How you guys doing tonight? Thank you so much for having me on, fellas.
Absolutely. Just so you guys know, we've had Braxton on before, and it was great. It was our first time, and we just had an absolute blast. So I'm super excited about tonight and talking about Braxton's latest project. Openly, everybody, we did say just before we went on that we are going to need Braxton's help in some pronunciations. So we hope we get things right. If we butcher names or anything like that, we're so sorry.
We do it with the greatest respect and honor that we can give.
Yes, we're not.
Jack it up. It is what it is.
That is correct. Yes. So, but I'm pretty excited tonight because you were talking about your latest project, which is a book, a novel. Let me rephrase it. How's the best way to say it? A written book, novel, but also a graphic novel that kind of go together. So, what's the name? Pronounce the name for us of the main character and the title.
Yes. So this is the Yasuke duology. We have the historical fiction novel and the fantasy graphic novel.
Yeah. So we saw the historical fiction part, and Mike was like, "Huh, let me look this up real quick."
Yes.
So everybody, we're going to be talking about his latest project, but you can find, I just want to do this real quick up front. You can find Braxton and his small press group at cosbymediaproductions.com, COSBY, Cosby Media, MEDIA, Productions, PRODUCTIONS.com. Go there for all things Braxton Cosby, but also as well as their, is it best to say small media company? That's probably the best way.
Small press publisher. 30 authors with 60 different titles in ebooks, audiobooks, and paperbacks. And comics, because we have Star Child Comics, which is our own in-house comic publisher, and we're up to I think now I want to say 18 comic books that makes the graphic novel and comics. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is no small affair, is my point.
Yeah, when you say small and then 30, I'm like, it doesn't sound so small to me.
It is, right?
Right.
So first, real quick, for those who may not have seen this the first time, and everybody go back and listen to that because we've got some really great information on there. But let's talk about just the media company and what your guys' heart and soul, what is you guys are really trying to do, because I love this. So go ahead and talk about just Cosby Media, but what you were doing.
Yeah, Cosby Media Productions, our mantra is we entertain the mind and inspire the soul. We really want to tell stories that are unique. We want it to be a full expression of the artist. I call all of who we work with our artists, whether it's the ones who do the actual art for the comic books, the graphic designers, the writers. I feel like we're all artists because we are all expressing the ideas and the concepts and the imaginations within our head, and we're putting them into paper. We're writing them. And so all the fantastic authors that we have award-winning authors, we have best-selling authors. We started a movement called the Rediscover Reading Movement, which is every year. It's not just something new that we rehash. And because we really feel like, I know for me, when I went through school, I was forced to read stories that I was not interested in, but that was just like inspired reading all through elementary. And,
We were all there, weren't we?
like I didn't identify with those characters. I didn't know characters in the worlds they were living in, timeline, whatever. But I had to do it to get, through school. Then I went to college, and I didn't have time to read. I was always trying to study, work, track and field, the whole 9 yards. I was busy, and so it wasn't until I got out and I wanted to really start getting into writing, and I just believe that if you're going to write it, you have to read it. You have to understand what all the greats are doing in that story to understand storytelling. And so I was like, man, when I started reading, I'm like, oh my God, like all these stories are out here. Like there's great. So I just started gobbling up stories left and right. And I rediscovered the joy of reading. So to me, that's always what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to write stories that I feel will reach so many different demographics, so many people who may have gotten away from reading. I go to conventions all the time, and I say, hey, people walk by and say, hey, what do you like to read? They go, oh, I don't read much. I got no time. And they walk off laughing. Or a woman say, oh, I haven't read in a long time. Or people just say like, well, what do you have? I haven't read in a while, but I like comics. So try to reach somebody somewhere and something of the interest just to get them back to reading again. Because I think what your mind does with imagery as you're reading it is just specific to you. I'm a writer. I know what I'm trying to show in my writing, but I can have 5 different people read the same thing and they'll see that character differently, or they'll relate to them or connect to them differently. And that's the onus and the challenge is on me as a writer to make sure that it's effectively the message that I want to get across, that I get it across effectively, and that people pick up on it. So,
yeah, I love it. I mean, it is true. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't read hardly at all. I mean, I read the Chronicles of Narnia. But I didn't make. I read maybe 3 of the books, and then I was like, okay, that was fun. And then I was off to something else, and then lo and behold, video games took a lot of my time.
Right, absolutely.
But man, you're right. Once I hit college, and especially my master's degrees, I was like, holy cow, I got a lot of reading to do. But you do get exposed to all that's out there, and stuff. So I think that's really. I love the whole reading. I didn't know you were doing the how did you say it again? The reading.
Rediscover reading.
Rediscover reading. We may need to connect with you on that. So
absolutely, yeah.
I think the key is you have to find something you're really interested in. Because like you said, as a child, and through both elementary and high school, I didn't want to read. Plus, I'm a slow reader. I don't read very fast, so that always discouraged me.
Absolutely.
Well, then Timothy Zahn came out with Star Wars: Heir to the Empire, and then all of a sudden I'm interested.
Do you have it?
You have it? Nice.
We knew we liked you.
I'll tell you something else that you guys are really going to geek out on. Check this out.
Uh-oh.
I went to Africa. Obviously, I had to. I was writing Yasuke. That wasn't the reason I went. I went anyway. But
wait a minute. Did you go to Japan too?
No. That's on the bucket list. That is coming.
Okay.
We've been as far as Singapore and Thailand, but we haven't gotten all the way to Japan. I've been in Thailand as a kid. So I'm in Seychelles, right off the coast of Africa, and it's literally 100,000 people on like 6 islands. Not a lot of people. And we find this one comic shop. I'm like, what are the chances of me finding a comic shop all the way over here off the coast of Africa, like 20 hours away from the States, right? So, of course, I had to go in and I had to buy something.
Oh, dude, I would geek out over that for sure.
Absolutely. And the guy was a complete, twat. He had no, personal skills. I'm like, hey. And I'm like, hey, I'm here to get the comic. He's like, okay. You want to sell me a comic? I'm from the States. Anyway, so I just go around this small stuff. How about I find this all the way over in Seychelles?
Oh, wow.
No.
Nice.
That is cool.
And then they had a double cover.
Oh, cool.
What?
Very cool.
All about Kylo Ren. So, so that was super cool to grab that. And I was like, oh, man. So, I mean, to your point, Michael, just finding something you like to read, man. Because once you dive in, to me, it's like working out for your brain. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like you. I did read, so I read through a whole page of something. Sometimes I go like, what I just read?
You're right. Yes.
And so for that point, I got into audiobooks. And I fell in love with audiobooks. Now I'll be in the gym working out, and then I go through like a chapter. I'm like, I don't remember any of that, and I just go back and rewind it and listen to the next. I mean, it was like, and if you get a voice actor who's amazing, it
Hmm.
really is like looking at a film,
Hmm.
you know. So audiobooks became my thing. So that was like a big thing for me when we started getting folks published. I was like, we got to do audiobooks now. We got to do audiobooks because I don't have time to read their works. I read their synopsis and I read their first three chapters to get into the story to see if we want to actually publish their work. But now I can go back and I can listen to these audiobooks. I'm like, man, I'm glad we signed this guy, man. This is really a good story. You know? So the audiobooks
Nice.
are a great, great way for me to get back into reading.
Agreed. Agreed.
That's awesome. Okay, so now let's talk about. You got to say, is it Yasuke?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, gosh. So, talk about this latest project, especially its historical fiction. Tell us the story about how you got into, like, how did you discover this story? What is this story, and why did it really resonate with you
Right.
to
So
create this whole book?
yeah, so I really am a fan of Asian culture. You know,
Okay.
I was the guy who grew up in Miami. We had every Sunday. My cousin got me into this show called Samurai Sunday, and it would just be a movie from like Japan or China where they would just be fighting. It's those one where you hit a guy like 20 times in the chest, and then only like one little puff of blood comes out, and he's never dead. Those types of things. So I fell in love with those. Flying off the walls, you know, all of that. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, love, like that was my thing, you know. And then Shogun came out last year, and I know you guys are familiar with the first one from back in the day, but this one came out, and it was like a
Wait a minute. Are you saying we're old?
well, well, I put myself there, so y'all can say what you want, but I remember that old one, you know, camera out my hand, you know. And so, so the new one came out, and it was done so well, and I love the pacing of the story, you know. And so I'm like scrolling on the internet one day, and I see this image of this black man in this samurai uniform armor, and I'm like, oh, did somebody just put that together with that like AI or something? And you know, now you got the algorithm, so I'm rolling another day, and then another image pops up, and then something else, and then finally I saw him with this young lady and a child, and I'm like, what is the story here? What's going on? What is this? You know? And so I started doing more research, and I found his name out, and then I was like fascinated. I was like, man, we had like the first black samurai. You know, this is a thing. This is real. And I started just pulling
Yeah.
out all this information, and but the more information I pulled, the more I didn't know. I didn't understand the how, you know. And
Okay.
so I was like, you know what? I think this has the bones of a fantastic story. And
Nice.
Feudal Japan, which I was fascinated with too. So I dove in. I started pulling all this information. Like I wanted to know everything about that time period when Yasuke was under the services of Lord Obunoga, and it was going to be about the agriculture, the commerce, the religion, the geography, the weather systems. I wanted everything I could find about that time and the wars and the factions and all this stuff that was going on. And I basically put those things, they were like the bricks, and I put them in this timeline. And I said, okay, now I just got to connect it. And that's where the fictional narrative comes in, where I glue all this stuff together to make it make sense to the ending of what happened in the last days of Yasuke and Nobunaga's reign. And so that was the easy part because I was so fascinated. And then the part that was the most challenging was coming together with a good B story because the B story is what really connects you to the main character. It's that thing that you know,
Mm.
Stephen, you might see uh, Star Wars, Mandalorian taking care of Grogu, and you might think of, oh man, that's like a big brother relationship. Well, maybe you have a younger brother, maybe you had an older brother, maybe you just understood the role of being a caretaker of somebody who couldn't really take care of themselves. That got you grounded and connected to the Mandalorian because he wore a helmet for like 2 seasons, you know? So
Yeah.
you can really connect with him that way. So I had to make sure I put those elements in there, and I went right back to the woman and the baby, and she was Asian. But I said, you know what? Let's jump back. If Yasuki was really a slave from the Sudan, how about we pull him from his family? And he had a Sudanese wife and a child. He didn't just come over here and get married to an Asian woman in Japan. So I put those elements in, and so people understood being pulled from something, or separated from your family, and maybe you're a parent and you understand, or maybe it's a husband or wife. So all those elements were in play, and I kept using those same elements throughout the story to connect Nobunaga and Yasuke in some way, and so that way it's in your face in the beginning, and it's subtle, and you're still picking up those same vibes as you're rooting for Yasuke to get through this whole thing. Because again, he even how he got his name, like Nobunaga gave him the name, and why would he elevate a African slave to the highest position of a soldier you can be in Japan?
Right.
I had to answer those questions, and that was the responsibility and onus was on me to do that. That was my
Mm.
responsibility. But I had a fantastic time weaving this story in to make it just seem seamless, And I love the pacing of Shogun, what they did with Hulu. So it was just like crazy that at the time I was doing all this research that came out, so I had a chance to kind of sit back and really understand storytelling and give those nice
Oh.
elements. That was like I call it a slow burn. You're there, you're interested, and all of a sudden something action would pick up, kind of get your heart racing, and you go back to the story again. And
Nice.
so it was such a challenge, and I had such a great time telling this story because I had all the bricks. I just needed to put the mortar in there to kind of connect
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah. So
Very good.
openly we had never heard of this story of you've got a black samurai
Hmm.
and like that. I'm like, huh?
Right,
Wait, and when you find out it's true, it's
right,
based on true story. You're like, what in the world?
right.
So
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to really digging into this because I'm just like, oh, this is going to be something. This is, and so did you find when writing the mortar of everything,
Mhm.
did you struggle with it or you already knew, okay, I know where I'm headed. I know where the bricks are. I know where the mile markers are,
Yeah,
where I'm headed.
right.
But did you find at times was like, did you struggle with writing the mortar? Not writer's block, but the aspect of, okay, could this have been something that could occur? I mean, what was that
Right,
struggle like in trying to do the mortar pieces?
right. The arm wrestling match that I went through, a lot of times I had a concept. I knew he would get here, but I wanted to make it so earned. And so I wanted to continue to challenge and myself, but also that conflict. What was the conflict that Yasuki was facing? Basically there was a main general named Akechi, who was one of the main ranking generals of Lord Nobunaga, and he wasn't having it. Like, who is this guy? He even called him a dog. Right from the beginning. So Yasuki had to overcome that, and I love that I could play with the real storytelling elements of the hero story. In that normally the hero is up against a huge challenge, and they can't overcome it in the beginning. And that's the whole point of the story. In Act Two is to learn the ways of the Force. And that's how he fights Vader at the end. And when he fights him, you're like, Luke, oh, I know he's got him. But he had to get there. And so
Mhm.
me having that first, yes, Yasuki was a strong guy. He was big, powerful, but he knew nothing about how to fight like a samurai. So that first
Sure.
instance, he's gonna get his butt whipped easily. And then we've got to now get there. So again, how does this happen? Who would train him? Why would they train him?
Mhm.
So I had to keep putting those challenges. I had to keep asking myself the questions and keep writing something in really, really nice. And I always normally get like down to two choices and go like, okay, I think I'm gonna go this road. And where would that lead me? And I kind of use the Pixar formula where they kind of go at this thing like, if if then. So if this happens, then this happens. But if this happens, then this happens. And you kind of keep going that route. And it was just a lot of fun to write it because man, it just came together so well. And I challenge people who read it, like, tell me where the fiction is from the real, because you probably gonna have a hard time separating it because it's
Yeah, I like that. That sounds cool.
yeah.
Awesome.
Do you think you mentioned Pixar storytelling and what for you what helps drive you to understand the story, story itself? What makes a good story? I'm not asking like the details, but what process did you go through to experience or figure out, okay, this is what I need to do to how to make a good story?
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely, I'm a student, and so Robert McKee
Okay.
did an amazing book called Story.
Yeah.
And in there, like early on in the book, he's like telling you all the elements of story and this and that. And he goes, the minute you think that you have gotten the best part of your story finished and everything is perfect, crumble it up and throw it away. He was
Oh,
always wanting to challenge you. You have not mastered this yet, So
okay.
I think that stuck with me, just constantly going, man, what is story? And I fell in love with story. I read Save the Cat, and
Okay.
the beats of the story. So I fell in love with 3 act structure, which is basically tried and true. And it started with, I think, the first beginnings of 3 act structure was, from what I understand, is from the Odyssey, and it's the whole hero's journey thing. So I really challenge myself when I put my outline together to have all those beats leveled out.
Yeah.
If you follow it, it really is plug and play. It's like simple, like, oh, right here we've got to have this. Okay, cool. Well, you know what?
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna try that. And then we got to have this moment, the inciting incident. Oh, this is what's gonna put him on the journey. Boom, we're gonna do that. And you just
Hmm.
run through it. And your outline, I tell people all the time, they say, oh, I got this story map and writing it. And I don't know, I'm just kind of stuck. I'm like on page 25. And I'm like, okay. So you got an outline? Ah, that's the one thing I don't have. I said, well, you have a story. And that's why you're stuck. You have no idea where you're going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to start with the outline.
But you find out, Michael, that is like, for the people who come to my tables at conventions and ask me about writing and processes, I'm going to honestly say 70% of them have no outline.
Wow.
They do or don't. I'm sorry.
They do
They
not
do
have an
not
outline.
have an outline.
They don't understand the concept of an outline.
Yeah.
They're just writing it. Oh, this is such a great story. And they tell me, they like, I got this guy who does this and this. And they'll go through this whole tangent. I say, well, where's the outline? They go, that's the one thing I haven't started yet. You just throwing ideas against the wall.
You just have an idea. Right. Right.
Your outline is the bones of the story. That's
Yeah.
It seems simple, but I'm telling you,
Yeah.
people who just want to write, they just have a great story. I get it. I
Yeah.
understand. If I didn't have an outline, man, trust me, I could get real wordy and I could just be rambling. It keeps me honest and it keeps me connected. So I need an outline, and I
Mhm.
feel
sure.
so
Yeah.
I feel so accomplished once I get my outline done. I'm like, oh man, I'm ready to write because this is nothing. I know in this
Yeah.
chapter, I put like three sentences that, okay, we're gonna tackle these 3 things, in this chapter. Start writing. Okay, we need to move to that. We need to move to that. Characters start talking to me, start giving me the other ideas I need to run off of. So I'm doing that. And when I'm done, I'm done. And like Robert Mackey said, when the A story and the B story collide and you have accomplished what the intention or the theme of the story was, the story is over. End it. Do not linger and just keep writing stuff. You know what the hero set out to do. Once they accomplish it, finish. So
Mhm.
people are like, oh, I don't know how to end it. I'm like, what were you starting with? Just when that's accomplished, it's over. You got to
Mhm.
move to another story. So yeah, so structure helps me out, and that's how I get stories. So when I start, unfortunately now because I'm so obsessed with structure, is that when I look at TV shows or I look at film, very early on in the beginning, I see the script. I don't see the story. I don't see it actually on this. I'm like looking at the script. Okay, introduction, opening theme. Okay, cool. Opening characters. This person will probably come back. Person will probably die.
Right. Right.
Now we're on. And I know my wife tolerates me, but I know she's not gonna be like, "You're not gonna make it. Watching me die." And we'll just do that over and over again. And so I see those scripts, and then once they've accomplished like the beginnings of what I need to be satisfied, I'm like, this is gonna be good, and I'm like getting excited. Now I'm ready to look at more of it. The minute it starts down, I go, turn this off. This is not gonna be good. I can just tell from the beginning. Just the way
Right.
it's moving.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, on the show, Mike and I, we'll do reviews of shows and stuff like that. And one of the things that I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we make fun of me for it. We have what we call the Steven skip, where I'm like, this is not going anywhere.
Right.
Skip.
Right.
I don't have time for this. And I've seen where a lot of shows drag out so much. I'm like, no, just tell me the story.
Right.
Stop doing the same story beat. Oh no, we're going to expand this, or we're going to throw in another set of story beats for this section,
Right.
and so
But
yeah,
now
so
tell Braxton what happens when you come on the show and I go, well, Stephen, and if you paid attention here, you learned that this happened, and you go, well, where did that happen? Well, that happened when you Stephen skipped 4 times.
Skip got it. Yeah.
oops. Yeah, so we have a good time with it. But you're right. There are some things there are some things where I get into it. I'm like, I'll watch maybe the first episode. I'm like, this didn't grab me. It's not a hook. And I'm like, I don't have a whole lot of time. And
Right.
I have to be very picky about what I watch. And unless it's something we decide we want to do for the show, then really that's what takes precedence for me, because I want to do what we want to, whatever it is we want to talk about for the show.
Yeah.
And so there's times I'm like, this is not so good. Like everybody, I'm just gonna call one out real quick. The girl with the dragon tattoo. I started watching it and I'm like, this is definitely not for me. And it was a sunk cost fallacy that I had to get over, because like, oh man, I've already put in, almost an hour in this, and I know there's like another hour and a half, 2 hours to it, and I'm just like, no. I know if you don't have me here, people are like, no, Steven, you should have gone. So I say, no, there's parts of this movie that no, I don't want that. That's not why I watch movies.
Right.
And so anyway, so yeah, I totally get it. So now, see, I'm squirreling this a little bit, but hey, thank you. I want to give you this encouragement. Michelle Shanks Herrera says that's great advice, where you're talking about having the having an outline, and that's what we did with our, as we're learning about stories, and
Yeah.
and just doing our own stories, and just getting in there. The biggest thing I've always said is just, if you want to write, get in there and do it. You're not going to do your magnum opus at the beginning of what you do. You'll learn as you go, and that's the important thing to get even better. So
Right.
yes, there are those who seem to be great when they first start. Yes, I'm not jealous, just saying, and all. So with Yasuke, though, the whole concept is, you've got this guy who, does he come over as a slave? The historical. Let's just talk about the historical.
Yeah.
He comes over as a slave, but then he becomes part of this clan, and then kind of moves his way up in the clan, kind of a thing. And but yet he's such an outsider to the culture. It's just a fascinating story that someone who's outside the culture moves through the culture
Absolutely.
to
And
become one
so
of the coolest things out there. Just
normally
saying, samurai.
there's a little bit of a trick that you can do in writing to move characters. You always have to move a character forward. So either
Mhm.
the events are moving them forward, or there's an intent, a direct intention of the character that's going to move them forward, or there's going to be some side characters who are going to move them forward through the story.
Okay.
Every big decision that has to be made in the story has to be made by the hero, because why am I following the hero if they can't decide what they're going to do? But there'll be some
Ooh,
people who
that's
ask
good.
the obvious questions.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? Well, I think we should do this. We always have to revert back to them. So what I
Mhm.
did is I had the odd couple with Nobunaga and Yasuki, very different people coming together, colliding. But I also had the mentor. So Ashtramayu was a character I made up, who was a blind old man who was like perfect with his movement, was all about sound. He can hear almost anything, and he knew when your heart raced and all those things. So he had all those cool elements with him, and he was the person who was assigned to move Yasuki forward in the story.
Yeah.
And so I had that piece, and I had another part. I don't want to give it away because that's really what kind of connects Nobunaga with.
Okay. Yeah. Don't
Different.
give anything away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't give anything away. We want to honor that.
Those elements were in there, and they were a nice. Like I said, I really wanted to keep paying homage to the culture that I fell in love with. So I wanted to have that whole, training methodology, the slow rhythmic movements. There's always one little thing you'll learn to do this, to do this, to do this, to beat this enemy, kind of a thing. So you had to learn that, and then eventually there were these big moments in the story. There were quite a few big moments where you could see him slowly elevating and getting the attention of Nobunaga. Because at this point, it was honestly just like an experiment. Like he's a big black guy, I'll intimidate everybody by just having him on my compound. Simple. He just went with a simple idea because he could, because he controlled the area, and if he decides something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and everybody's gonna agree with it, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, he did come over as a slave on a promise. You got to read that, and then that promise was broken, and before you know it, he goes from like frying pan into fire, and he's got to figure out how to survive. So yeah.
Or like in Shogun, boiling water. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Boiling oil, something like that. So let me, real quick, this is more to everybody who's with us. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Michelle says, I'm intrigued. How do I buy this book for George? That's her husband.
Oh,
well, we're glad you asked.
That's right.
Interesting question. Glad you'd asked that. Yes.
Ta-da. It depends on.
When you go to the website, go to the store. There,
Okay.
tabs across the top, and then she can go to the store. Even if she went to this, if you do /store, it'll take you right there. And then scroll to the bottom, and you'll see the novel, and you'll see the graphic novel. Anything you pick up, Michelle, is signed by me, and you also get a special bookmark as well. So you buy that thing tonight, it'll be in the mail tomorrow to you.
So that's if you buy it on the store. You buy it at the store. Here, let me see if I can do this. We're just making up stuff on the fly.
Well, we want to make sure people realize it's a duology.
Yeah.
So the first is a novel, and then the second is a graphic novel.
Absolutely.
Let me do this. I'm going to walk those who are watching video. I'm going to walk you through this. Here we go. Cosby Media. I'm going to kill the banner here for a second. Boop. Okay. Whoa. We lost, we lost Brandon. Hang on a second, buddy. Sorry. So I'm going to bring you over to, I'm bringing you over to the site. So if you're in Cosby Media Productions here, you can go to the storefront. So you see the storefront tab. Here's the list of tabs: home, who are we, book publishing, Star Child Comics, press and announcements, and then storefront. And then you can go to comics and books store.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be shopping cart. Oh, there it goes. It's going to take it. Sorry, it's running a little slow because I'm trying to stream at the same time.
Yeah. And then just scroll down now.
Okay, scrolling down. And then you can find all of the you can find all of the different books here. Braxton, I'm gonna move you again. Hang on.
Okay.
There we go. So that looks a little bit better. Nobody told me I needed Dramamine. So here's all the books. Now I'm going to scroll down everybody a little bit more here. Oops, it'd be to help if I'm
These are a lot of our comics, and then some of the novels. Like I told you, we're hybrid publishers, so we publish our stories in both novels and comics. So there's a lot of crossover here. So you'll see the novels that have the comics that are associated with them, and vice versa on this page that we keep in stock on our store. So at the end, you got them right next to each other. You got Yasuke, Dead Man Walking, and Yasuke Resurrection, the graphic novel.
Yeah. So so I'm going to click on Yasuke, the novel. And here's the novel. Great cover, by the way. We love it. We really like the cover.
I love the cover of this book.
You know my favorite part of the cover?
Okay.
The shiny part of the sword.
Here, let's zoom in there a little.
I got this from the artist, and I was like, "Oh, this cover is like, okay, yes, I love it." We've got the crest of Nobunaga on the armor in the middle, and all that great, fantastic stuff. The dragon on the helmet, all that is fantastic. I went ahead and played around with a graphic program I have, and I said, I gotta see a reflection on that sword.
Nice. No, you're right. That adds.
And that sword, when the little gleam went on there, that was it. It was like, oh my god! I kind of wish y'all had experienced it, because to see it the way it was, and then you see that, you go, yeah, it needed that.
It's always some detail.
Yeah, that grabs you.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, we really like it. So what we're saying is, everybody, if you go to Cosby Media Productions, go to the store. Anything you order that's Braxton's, he will sign for you. That's all inclusive. So you're getting physical copies. And so then let me go back. I'm going to go back real quick. And now tell us real quick while we're talking about this or going to it. We have the graphic novel, which is Yasuke Resurrection. Now, is this in addition to, like, is it side by side, or is it take place after? What's the universe here for this?
This was my opportunity to, like, again, it's the history. After the big climactic ending of the novel, Yasuki disappears virtually in history books. There's nothing. So I said, man, this would be a great opportunity for me to really like put together like a fantastic manga style, big sword element fantasy story with Yasuki, you know? And so that's what I did is basically like what happened to him afterwards. And I come up with this whole fantasy realm and all the things he can do, how we can play around with him having super strength and speed and all that stuff. Really, really have fun with it. And that's what Resurrection ends up being, is this a fantastic manga graphic novel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You really should do a T-shirt with the crest of, how do I say his name?
Let me hear it.
Oh gosh! Wait a minute. Let me go back to Gemini, so I can at least see it.
My pop-up. This is my pop-up when they come to the convention. We got Yasuki, the whole thing here.
Hey, it's missing the shiny. It's missing
You're
the
right.
And you're exactly right. And so with this is one of the first ones that I have, and this one is actually going to somebody else. And so my new one it has the shiny on it when I go to yes. Yes.
Nice.
You understand now.
Oh gosh, Michelle goes.
Right, and she's right. We do have posters, obviously, that we sell when we go to the
Very nice.
to the
Oh yeah,
convention.
yeah. Michelle says that would make an awesome poster. And then she said, "Yes, T-shirt. I would buy one."
Oh, very cool. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So just going back to the graphic novel, the whole aspect of that is because since Yasuki just disappeared from history, you took a what if approach, like,
Yes,
hey, what if, and went there.
Yeah.
How?
And I did plant a seed for this in the novel.
Oh, okay.
Because you got the compound where Nobunaga is, and there was this brief little moment where he's like, Yasuki's kind of getting a lay of the land, and they're talking about like, well, what's out in the one place you don't go is the dark forest. And they're like, the dark forest, what's there? Evil demons and spirits. A spirit known as Chiwa is known to live there. We don't leave the compound and go that way. It was just subtle. What I did is there is a comic book called Blood Moon. So even though this is a duology, the comic book is called Blood Moon. And it's the origin story of Chiwa. So you can actually get the 20-page comic book as well called Blood Moons, and it says on there a Yasuki story. So it's kind of like just reinforce the storytelling, and that's on the website. So if you pick it up, but that's there. So I did that as a setup. Then that Chiwa character we'll see in the graphic novel, and of course I add new characters who have now come along. You're bringing on this band of characters to try to help navigate him. So it's all there. Put it that way.
Nice.
So
graphic novel.
So Yasuki will carry on.
Oh yeah, and when you see the end of the graphic novel, you will see the next avenues for him. So yeah, I've got plans for Yasuki.
Now, I just saw in kind of my little research I was doing earlier, apparently Yasuki is going to be featured in the next Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So, so you knew about that?
I knew about it as I was already writing it, and it came out. I'm like, oh well, great. People might play the game and say, hey, I want to read up some more about Yasuki, because there you go. There's biographical stories on him out there. But I don't think anybody has done a historical fiction story. So this is very similar to the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer kind of thing, where they kind of had fun with the whole idea of him having this huge axe. And so that's what I kind of did.
I love that. I love that movie, by the way.
It was so great. It was great.
It's so fun.
It was like I said, it was a fun movie,
Yeah.
And so my take was a little bit more of the slower burn. Like I told you, it was if you dug Shogun, and it kind of got that same weightiness and feel to it.
Mhm.
Not as fun as Abraham Lincoln, but the graphic novel is probably more Abraham Lincoln type.
Nice.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Well, that's probably the smart choice. You pick the slower paced story for the novel,
Hmm.
and then you pick it up for the graphic
Absolutely.
novel.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is there's more coming.
Oh yeah.
I love that. Oh yeah.
This is just the beginning. I mean, and I've just been so grateful on the reception of it so far. I got 5-star reviews on Reader's Favorite, and that's automatically up for one of the candidates for Book of the Year for historical fiction. We got 5 stars on Literary Titan, and it actually earned a gold medal award, and it was part of February's Book of the Month. My whole thing of doing all this was aiming at dropping in at Black History Month and having it be a success. So being number one on Amazon
Mm.
was huge for both the comic. I mean, both the novel and the graphic novel were both number one on Kindle.
Mhm.
Um, Getting the accolade in Book of the Month for Literary Titan, and also Kirkus Review gave it the Get It accolade. They basically tell readers, "Hey, go ahead and pick it up. They really, really liked it," and they called it epic historical fiction. So I was like just so over the moon
That's
with
awesome.
that. And the Literary Titan review
Yeah.
was really great about the Literary Titan. Like I told you, all those elements of writing, you're hoping that people get it. You're like, man, I'm putting this in here. I'm not trying to have it be on the nose. I want it to be subtle, but I want people to understand it and feel it. And this ascension of Yasuke at the end, it can't feel like time to make him, Yasuke, because Nobunaga gave him the name Yasuke, so he does have another name coming into this. All of his rise and his ascension, I wanted it to feel very organic. And the reviewer said, by the time Yusuke, comes into who he is, all the elements of what happened to him before, it makes it feel earned. And I was like, when I read the review, I was like,
Nice.
yes, they really read the book. Yeah, so that was really important.
Well,
Nice.
I was looking over the reviews that you sent us, and I like the one that says the story is compelling with some violence and much court intrigue.
Yes,
The author includes a lot of great detail. Some of the descriptions of Japan, especially of the natural features, are quite beautiful, and
yes,
the battle scenes are tightly composed and suspenseful, and an engaging historical epic. I really like that review.
yes, yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Yep. Roger asks, when is the movie coming out?
Ask Warner Brothers. They're already working on a Yasuki movie. I'm like, hey, if they need a script, I can do
I
it.
got one.
It's
There
mine.
you go.
My story's solid enough. But yeah, I agree. It really is one of my just favorite joys. I feel so honored to take a historical figure and do successfully what I was able to do with it, especially in light of it being Black History Month. It was just amazing, and I think that it's a story that's going to transcend. It's not just about color. It's about really, like I said, it's a fish out of water. It's the odd couple, it's
Right.
the mentor, the mentee. It's got all these elements, and the one drive is just Yusuke just keeps repeating, I'm just trying to get back to my family. What do I have to do to get out of, kind of get here? But at the same time, he does build this surrogate relationship with some of these characters that it really is something that I think people will connect with.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for you. And I know you mentioned that there is a movie in development, but let's say Warner Brothers does come to you and they want to make your story into a movie. Who do you envision playing Yasuki?
You know what? Somebody said this, and it hit me when they said it. I think Idris Elba, man. Oh, it would be like,
Oh, that
yeah,
would be
you see,
good.
it hit you too.
I could actually see him in the samurai
Yeah,
costume. Oh
yes,
my gosh.
it would be amazing.
Perfect answer.
Absolutely. Yes.
I wasn't expecting quite the perfect answer so quickly
Right.
too. And
I was
awesome.
like thinking like Michael B. Jordan. I had all these other ideas, and when somebody said, "Oh, I could definitely see," I was like, "Wow, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
him for sure."
All right, we got our actor.
Nice.
Good.
Michelle asks, do I have to read the novel first, or can I just get the graphic novel and be able to follow?
What I like to do, Michelle, is in the beginnings of my stories that are connected, I like to give you a little bit of a synopsis, like a summary of where we are, so I think that you will be able to pick right up. And that's the whole purpose of it, is that um, they're two separate stories, but they mesh better. It's like you can eat cereal without milk, but it's probably better with the milk too, But but you
Oh
can.
wait, that depends on what cereal you're eating.
All cereal to me needs milk. I'm sorry. So yeah, so I do think you can. If you want to pick up the graphic novel, just read it. You could, but I think you're going to appreciate the whole story so much better if you go through it. And trust me, the novel is such a steady read. It's going to be hard to stop anyway if you start it.
Nice.
Nice.
Money back guarantee, not from me. I won't give it back to you, but somebody will.
Roger says, who do we write to so you can do the script?
Oh, that would be fantastic. Hit up Warner Brothers, see if you could get a line into them. I know they're getting sold to Netflix, so maybe Netflix will take it and do it.
Right.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
But you know what? I saw a rumor, that they're open up with Paramount again. Something's going on with Paramount getting involved again.
Go read the Deadline article and you'll realize that this deal is dead.
Oh, really?
Deadline did talk about it. They said basically Netflix was like almost insulting Paramount Skydance. Like, look, you guys want to keep making this noise. We're going to let you go ahead and just do this because this deal is done. All of the people on the board are voting on March 20th. But because you're crying about it, we're going to open up this 7-day window for you to just present what you want. But we know that you're using deceptive tactics, that what you're saying you're going to do, you're not able to do. We feel very strong with our deal. But we're going to let you have this conversation just to get it out your system, but this is not going anywhere. So yeah, so Netflix feels really good that they're going to have it. So I have a very small glimmer of hope, like on the sword of Yasuke, that we're going to get the Snyderverse back if Netflix gets it, because they love Zack Snyder, and if they can get one around, I think we can have these. I don't think we'll mind having two verses going along. We can have the James Gunn verse of DC, and we can still have Zack Snyder. I would be perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Your Team Snyder, huh?
I am. I like what he did. I really do. I want to see him finish it, but I know it's outside, but we'll see.
Yeah, see, I wanted to get that Henry Cavill Superman versus Black Adam.
Yeah,
that's what I really wanted.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That was so cool.
And I wonder what Snyder would have done with Darkseid. I think he would have just been an amazing on-screen presence.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been colossal.
Agreed. Roger had to throw in. Thanks, Roger. Steven loves the multiverse. Listen, there is no multiverse outside of Snyderverse. Just saying. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Braxton, Mike and I have this thing on who we think is the best Batman on screen.
Uh-oh.
And I really enjoyed
Batfleck.
Ben Affleck, because it was the battle-worn, experienced Batman, which we really don't have.
Right.
And that's what I really liked about him. Mike,
yeah, there's only one screen Batman.
Go ahead.
His name is Michael Keaton.
I gotta admit, I was a huge Christian Bale fan. Because I liked him in what was the name of that movie he did with the gunplay?
Equilibrium. I just watched it 2 weeks ago again.
I loved him in Equilibrium, and I saw him get it. I'm like, because when you hear these announcements of these actors who get these roles, you're kind of like, I didn't kind of see him as that. Let me see. And then he did good. I do agree with you, though, Mike. I really do love Michael Keaton. I didn't even realize how much I loved him until I saw him in The Flash. And when that Batman came back in The Flash, I was like, damn, this is the cool Batman. Like the stuff he was doing in The Flash. I was like, if they would be old and they still had him just kind of rely on his gadgetry and his surprise elements, I was like, this is the Batman I did miss. I did miss this one,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, since you agree with Mike, this interview's over. No, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
But Ben Affleck was good. He was really good. I would have loved to see him have his own solo movie because that one fight scene where he goes to save Martha Kent,
Oh yeah,
chef's kiss. I mean, it was amazing.
it was. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that's where I'd say Ben Affleck got ripped off. He didn't get a solo film,
Right.
and he really needed a solo film to really establish himself as Batman. And
Agreed.
in my, but that being said, Michael Keaton is Batman. I'm Batman.
Roger says, "I want Batman Beyond with Keaton," and
Yes.
I would concur. I think that would be based upon the Flash movie
Right.
with him. Actually, that would be a good one. That would be very good.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, we squirreled. Sorry, Braxton. Hey, thanks for enjoying us and indulging us in these extra conversations and stuff. This is great. And all right. Well, let's see. So the best place everybody can go, real quick, we're going to do another reminder, is Cosby Media Productions. Yes, you can find his books on Amazon. But if you want to support Braxton and also get signed copies, order from the website, if you would please. Please do that and help support him. All right. Well, I feel like I'm missing something. Mike, what did we say else we were going to talk about? I feel like I'm missing it.
I think we covered everything.
Oh, Braxton, for the introduce everybody to kind of outside it. Just we did talk about Yasuke, and I wanted to make sure we did that. But those that may not know all the other IPs that you have, give a brief description of those, if you would, please.
Yeah. What is super cool is that I have this amazing banner coming out. It's being shipped to the house now, so I have it at all my conventions. And it's this banner like my Mount Rushmore of content. So because I get people like, what do you have? And you got to go through this whole. Now I got So one banner is Kisa Donovan from the Broken series. So you can see that's dystopian fiction. If you guys are into zombies, dystopian world. It's a novel, a comic, graphic novel, and now I'm working on the picture novel, which is going to be coming out towards the end of the year. I also have the Red Gemini Chronicles. If you guys are into hard sci-fi. That's like the umbrella that we have the Starcross trilogy, Starcross Saga books 1, 2, and 3, Protostar, Supernova, and Solstice. Also, we have under the Red Gemini Chronicles is the spin-off series with Steel Rain, which is the Bounty Hunter series, where he has the comic and the novel. And we just finished the second issue comic that's going to be coming out later this year as well. Then we have the Cape, which is the superhero series, where we have 4 novels, 3 comics with the Cape. The Cape 1, we have Cape Overdrive as the novel. Infinity 7 Book 1 is Gods Among Men. Book 2 is War of Gods. It's like our Avengers Assemble. And we just dropped the young team that's basically having the mantle handed down to them, which is called the Fabulous Five. Fantastic story, some young little characters we got. And then the last part of the Mount Rushmore of Braxton's IPs is Yasuke, and obviously you know about the duology, and Blood Moon, which is the Yasuke story.
Nice. And where is your next convention you'll be at?
Yeah, well, I will be at Barnes and Noble this weekend in Beaufort, Georgia. If anybody listening wants to come out, I'll be there from 1 till 4, and then we will be in Huntsville, Alabama, in March for the Huntsville Comic-Con. Also, after that, we will be in South Carolina Comic-Con in Greenville, South Carolina in April. In May, we'll be back down here in Atlanta at Liberty Books for First Comic Saturday. In June, we will make our way to Charlotte, North Carolina for Heroes Con. And in July, yes, Tennessee, we are coming back. My first love, we're in Tennessee with the conventions. We're coming back to Fanboy in Knoxville, Tennessee in July. And that's just the first part of the year for us.
Nice.
Woo. Boy, yeah. I love how you just rolled off. Not only, now you can tell you're a writer because you called it the Mount Rushmore of content, that kind of thing. But that banner, so you named everything else. Now you got your schedule named. I'm impressed. You just rolled that right off the tongue. You've had to say that quite a bit, or you keep the, what's the word I'm trying to say? You've got to have it as part of your sales repertoire.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let me know when you come to St. Louis.
I need to get to St. Louis for sure.
Yes, you do.
Just email me some of the conventions. I need to know where they are so
Okay.
I can know the timeline of kind of settling into that. Yeah.
Now, last year we had our first ever Galaxy Con in October, and I
October, okay.
think
October's
they're
2 months.
coming back in October again
Okay.
this year.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Because a lot of the conventions that we go to, they do multiple places, and I think GalaxyCon is one of the ones that is with the people who run Atlanta Comic Con, which was they just bought them out, so they moved to next year. They bumped it out because they did it last year, but they want to redo it a little bit better. So, yeah.
Yep. Michelle says, Michael, I'm only 3 hours from Huntsville.
Hey, there you go. I'm 2.5, so we're happy to be going to Huntsville.
Nice. Nice. Oh, man. Well, Braxton, it has been fabulous to have you on the show again.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank you guys for having me on, man. If you end up picking up Yasuke or just reading the stuff that we sent, please, I'd love to hear the feedback, man. Let me know what you guys think. I definitely value y'all opinion as fellow geeks, and I think it'd just be awesome to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely
definitely going on my reading list. That's for sure.
Yes. I love it. All right. Well, one last plug, everybody. Make sure, please go to CosbyMediaProductions.com. There you'll find Braxton's world of small press printing. Is that the way to say that? Publishing.
Yep.
Small press publishing, and so it's I'm pretty excited about just all that he's doing, and once again, second show with us, and it was a blast. You're so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
So we just really appreciate it. Just hanging out with you has just been a treat. For those of you who are new to the show or just kind of hanging out, you can check out our website at www.2geeksmic.com. That's the number 2 GEEKSMIC.com. Also, you get everything there from 2 Geeks, so you can go to even to our merch page, or you can go directly to 2geeksmicmerch.com, the number 2 GEEKSMICMERCH.com. Or if you want to help support us, we have a Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/2geeks. We like Ko-fi much more betterer. Sorry, I finally got that in. Cheers. Than Patreon, because it's really geared towards creators and artists, and we just really enjoy it. So we have a $1 tier, $2 tier, and a $3 tier. That's it, and all that goes to help us pay for all the stuff it takes to do it, to do a show. Also, just want to reach out. If you want to reach out to us, our email is show@2geeksmic.com, SHOW at 2, the number 2 GEEKSMIC.com. And Mike is the one who keeps really good tabs on the email, much more better than I do, just saying. So, all right, with that, Mike, anything else we need to chit chat about?
Only if you made it this far, please make sure and go like and subscribe to us on the socials, such as Facebook and Instagram. I try to stay active over there with sometimes funny memes, sometimes, comic book anniversaries, movie anniversaries, so on and so forth. But mainly you'll get information of when we go live. And speaking of going live, we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, except when we do Creators Corner. Those are generally on Tuesdays or Thursday evenings. And but you can catch us for our normal show on Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math on the rest because I don't like math. And you can watch us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Rumble. Well, I say Rumble Live, but the link got messed up, so oops. I'll be uploading that later. So to our Rumble followers, you'll get this later.
Right on. Very good. All right. Well, again, Braxton, thank you so much. It was a blast. And Mike, I guess that's it. We're ready to sign out.
Yep. Please do not Steven skip this episode because we are much more better than the rest. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining us today on the 2 Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,